You have to. You have to be able to request that same grace from your spouse, from your friends, from your family, from your loved one, but most importantly, from your children, because they're the ones that are most absorbent of our energy. So we have to be able to ask for grace from them in these challenging times. And listen, this too shall pass. I'm going to say it again. This too shall pass. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new on my channel, welcome. If you're returning, I appreciate it. I want to talk a little bit about one thing that I learned in 2020, and that is grace. Being gracious to yourself, being gracious to other people, and most importantly, being gracious to the people we actually live in a home with, i.e. husband, wife, children. I think 2020 was the year that really tested our patience. It tested us in very numerous ways. But the one thing that through it all was a thread that would be able to help you sustain those moments was grace, extending grace to yourself. There's so many things, challenges that came that, to be very honest, we didn't know how to handle. We mishandled a lot. We made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of missteps. And so grace was so important for us to really understand. If you are a very spiritual person or a religious person, then you know the weight of grace in most religions, right? The grace that God extends onto us for the things that we do, that He is still gracious. That is the level of grace that you have to extend to yourself and to your loved ones and to your children. And you actually do request the same grace from those people. You have to. You have to be able to request that same grace from your spouse, from your friends, from your family, from your loved one, but most importantly, from your children, because they're the ones that are most absorbent of our energy. So we have to be able to ask for grace from them in these challenging times. Grace from self looks like standing in the mirror, saying to yourself, hey, these thoughts that you have of me are pretty harsh. You're thinking that I made a mistake and that because of that I failed. You're looking at me as a failure. If you do have these negative talks that you have with yourself, then this would be the perfect moment. Look at yourself in the mirror, maybe in the morning, right after you get in the shower, and tell yourself, you know what? I am going to be gracious to you because I love you. I love you as Christ loved the church. I love you as God loves His people, and I am going to extend that same level of grace to you. To your spouse, the same thing. You could do it in the morning. You could let them know to kind of remind you when they're going through certain situations. Let's say you're having a hard time with something that they did. You could tell them to remind you and say, hey, could you please be gracious to me in this moment because of X, Y, and Z. To our children especially, I think it is very important to teach them what being gracious looks like, right? Being gracious to ourselves first and foremost, but also asking them for grace. If they did something that you overreacted, it is very pivotal for you to go to them and say, hey, mommy overreacted in this moment because mommy was having a really tough day. Daddy overreacted in this moment because I had a really long day. And so I am sorry that I overreacted. And then I ask that you be gracious to me. You can let them know beforehand and say, look, today has been a bad day for mommy. Today has been a tough day for mommy. Especially if you have kids who are in a team sport, you can actually use that analogy of, listen, we're a team. So I am going to need you a little bit to be more gracious to me today so that we can function and be a winning team. It is so important, so important. I can't stress it, how you need to exercise grace. 2020 is over, but we're still in this challenge in 2021. So the key to surviving most of these things, and listen, this too shall pass. I'm going to say it again. This too shall pass. Whatever it is, whether it's financial turmoil, whether it's your marriage in shambles, whether it's you having a tough time being a single parent, whether it's you having a tough time being a working mom and taking care of your kids and your husband and your household, whether you're having challenges finding a job, whatever it is, this too shall pass. And the one thing that will be able to get you through it is grace. I pray that you understand that being gracious to yourself is the most loving thing you can do. I hope for grace abundantly in your life. Until next time, have a good one.